First of all, to make a petal, I'll select and make one shape, one circle. I'll make a duplicate here, and another brand new tool. It's called the Shape Builder tool. How many of you would love to be able to get rid of the outside of that circle to make the leaf on the inside? I can do this in 2 clicks. I can name that tune in 2 clicks. By going to this Shape Builder tool, I can come over to these images, and by holding down the Option key, click, I'm able to get rid of the areas outside of that. Okay? Okay, let me do that again. If I make a shape, and I making a dog bone here. Okay, so there's my dog bone. Now, I know you're looking at this going, yeah, I would really love to make this dog bone a lot faster rather than hand drawing the outside edges of this. So if I go here and make all of them selected, get my Shape Builder tool, no hands this time, click and drag, click and drag, click and drag, click and drag, click and drag. What this does is it goes in and it combines those shapes together. Love this tool. Now, the dog has taken a bite out of this, so I will go in and up arrow key to add in more points here. All the stuff you learned in Part 1 class. And there's my bite. Again, wouldn't it be nice and easy to be able to take away the bite from that dog bone? So I'll select both pieces, I'll go to the Shape Builder tool, and this time I'll hold down the Alt key or Option key and get rid of that section. Shape Builder tool, awesome, awesome little addition. That was added to CS5, yeah. Yeah, the question is this replacing the Pathfinder tool? Kinda, yeah. Yeah, it really is. The problem with this one is that it is a permanent change. It is permanently modifying, whereas the Pathfinder, you can make it so that it's not permanent, it's still live. So that in that realm, yes, I still do use it. But here, if I want to poke a hole through the middle of this, I can go to the Pathfinder or the Shape Builder tool, Option click, and now that is truly a hole that I'll just prove by sending something to the back. So it is truly a hole that I can punch out through there. Okay, so yeah, the Shape Builder tool, it's changed my life. It really did. Changed the way I work with this program. Okay, so moving quickly along here to get to some of the questions that you guys had. I'll make a petal by Alt-clicking. Now, for some odd reason, it gives me 2. I don't know why, but it does. So here's my second object. And I will go to my swatches panel, and I'll fill this in with a gradient. Zoom in. Fill this in with a gradient. And now I'll show you the new Width tool. The Width tool also was added in CS5. The Width tool allows me to, ready, watch, click, drag. Change the width of specific areas of a segment on any path that you have. So I can go in here and change the width here of this image. Another new feature is the fact that I can put on a stroke on the gradient. So by choosing the stroke here and then applying a gradient on that stroke, I'll have to go in here to the gradient panel, and in the gradient panel, as long as I have my stroke active here, I have 3 different ways that that gradient can apply. Apply the gradient within the stroke. You see that it doesn't really do much fun stuff. This one is applying the gradient along the stroke. So it goes, well, what do they say? It's, yeah, along the stroke. It starts here and then it applies all the way around. This one is what I really want, where it applies it across the stroke in the width of that gradient. And I can go in and modify the, left to right or right to left of that gradient. Okay? So we'll make this as our little petal. So that is a new feature, gradient on stroke. You can see that I've done this. I may not have time to do this because I want to get to a couple other things. But I've done this here. Let me fill this with a color so you can see it. There we go. Let me do a different color. Okay, so this is a circle that has a green fill and it has a stroke, which is that radial or that sunshine. And you see that that is one way to put a stroke on a path. That's another way, and that is yet another way where I can flip-flop it. So again, hopefully these things are going to be you're going to be able to employ in your designs a lot easier. Okay, so let me continue with our petal. I have 8 petals around here, I think, 6, yep, 8 petals around here. And if I double click on my rotate tool and I type in a number, that's going to rotate the petal around what? Its own center point. What I really want to rotate this petal around is, think of a clock. 12 o'clock is where the petal is. I want to rotate that around in a center point that's somewhere away from the petal itself. So what I do with this is I can get my rotate tool, and if I click with an option click or an alt click somewhere away from the petal, I'll do that again, petal is selected, option click or alt click, I can get the dialog box which does 2 things. The dialog box says, well, how far? But the alt click said, where do I want to rotate? So now I will do a math problem inside of here. I will do 360 degrees divided by 8. And that's how many objects I want. I'll hit copy. I'll get the answer. It's 45 degrees. And I'll rotate that all the way around the circle perfectly. Okay? So I know I did that really fast. Something we do in our Part 1 class. So this should have showed you that we can put gradients on strokes. It also showed you the shape builder tool. Let me do this last one here with the width tool, which is another thing that we showed. I will go to my little drawing tool here, and I will apply that green gradient. I will also grab the end here to thicken out the end, thin out the top, and then I'll apply that gradient along that stroke like so.